Well, I think the goal of the documentary was to create something that was going to be very entertaining and speak to an audience that's not normally the demographic that goes and sees a political documentary, and do it in a way that was going to inspire conversation.
Personally, I have a lot of friends and family who have been affected with it, by addiction, and as Bert was saying, everybody is a participant, or at least complicit, in this war on drugs. So you ask anybody, and they're going to have a friend, a family member, or themselves, contributing in some way to either addiction or having been a drug dealer or having tried drugs. So for me, it's about starting a conversation.
I mean, I think it's just become normal. I think it's something that's been going on for 50 years, so people take it for granted. But the reality is that right now, the United States has the largest prison population in the world, and still is the #1 consumer of cocaine and marijuana. So the drug war is not working. It causes more damage than the drugs themselves, and it's time to start talking about that.
When I first met Matthew, literally the first day that I met Matthew, I was at his house and I saw on his idea board a title, and it said, "How to Make Money Selling Drugs," and this was 10 years ago. And he explained to me what the film he wanted to make was, and it was very relevant 10 years ago. And by the way, it's even more relevant 10 years later. It's the war on drugs is not only a failure, it's getting worse. So, what surprised me is that this is not on the political conversation. This is not part of our normal everyday public debate about how we're going to deal with this mounting issue. So that's what's surprising, is that people are afraid. And the one thing the war on drugs has done, because it hasn't helped with our drug addiction, it hasn't helped with the violence and the crime, but what it has done is successfully scared us all into submission, and scared us into communicating about the issue.
I think that's what this film really enables the audience to do, and just create, like Adrian just mentioned, that conversation, that greater conversation, where in the past it's been kind of taboo, or people don't necessarily understand what is the war on drugs exactly, and how do I play a role in this. And I think it's something now that we're hoping that this film kind of just launches that kind of conversation and makes it something that's okay to talk about, and we can kind of come up with creative, productive solutions.